In this video, we will discuss ways that you can assess students' print awareness, as well as strategies and activities that you can use in your classroom to help foster the development of print concepts in early readers. This video was created by faculty in the Literacy Education Program at Appalachian State University. If you have additional questions, please reach out to Jenny McCurry at the email on the screen. On this slide, you will see a developmental progression of concepts of print, beginning with the earliest and simplest skills and working its way to the most complex, most sophisticated skills, beginning with noticing print in their environment and eventually understanding that that print contains meaning, and ending with the ability to distinguish between letters, words, sentences, and even finger pointing and tracking print in books or in print. So there are several different ways that you can assess students' print awareness, ranging from the very informal, just observing a student while they are interacting with a book and noticing if they're able to hold it the correct way, if they are able to find the title, or they're able to distinguish between words, letters, punctuation, if they can turn the pages one at a time. All of these things show you what they understand or what they aren't yet aware of or noticing. You can also intentionally ask questions. Maybe you ask them if they can show you where to start reading, if they can tell you which, or point to a word that begins with the letter B, if they can tell you what a punctuation mark is for. All of these things give you information about that child. And after you've assessed them, you'll have a better idea of how to support their development going forward. So you can use an informal observation, paying attention to whether they are noticing the print around them, or you can use a more formalized checklist or a formal assessment. Now, there are lots of different really great strategies that you can use in your classroom to develop print concepts in your early readers. I'm going to talk about a few, but please know that I won't even be able to skim the surface. There are many, many ways that you can do this, and it's just so critical that you are being intentional about modeling and explicitly teaching print concepts in the way that you run your classroom. First and foremost, make time each day to engage with books, to engage your students with real books, whether that's through shared reading, interactive reading, putting books in the child's hand, but engage with books, ask questions, have them show you the front of the book, have them help you turn the pages, model left to right directionality, discuss the punctuation and the purpose of it. You can also label the environment of the classroom. And in doing this, you begin to help the children to associate words with objects, and then eventually they will understand that that print carries meaning, right? So if you have labeled the rug or the window or the rocking chair, they'll eventually connect that the words on that rocking chair actually also say rocking chair. You can model reading and writing. So you've done a read aloud, you can also model writing, whether you're writing a list, a letter, a story, a schedule, or maybe they help you create labels for the classroom. Demonstrating writing for them shows them what you're writing and why. It has a purpose, and it also shows them the connection between spoken and written language. We call these big books, and they may be a bit outdated, but they are large format books with clear, easily visible text. And now there are lots of other options utilizing technology, as long as the size of the text is viewable by everyone in the classroom. This makes it easier for children to see the words and follow along with you as you're reading, and they'll be able to notice the things that you're pointing out. Whether that be punctuation or spacing or capital letters and so forth. It's important that you aren't just expecting them to notice environmental print on their own, but that you point it out to them and you explicitly explain to them the purpose of the print, what it says, and how they can use it in their lives. So after you have modeled writing, it's also important to give them access to materials to get started on their own writing. Even if it begins with scribbling or drawing, we want them to pick up a writing utensil and start, right? And so have a writing station with pencils and crayons and markers and paper, maybe chalk or whiteboard with dry erase markers. But it's very important to offer them access to various writing materials and encourage them to get started. For a child, play is work, right? And so we want them to work and play with letters. And if we have maybe a letter station with different materials, phone letters, magnetic letters, wiki sticks, different alphabet blocks, or maybe letter puzzles. These things can help them to become familiar with letters and with the shapes of different letters. You can also be intentional about what you ask them to do with those letters. Perhaps you want them to spell out their name or their friend's name, or different simple words based on what you know of that individual child and their readiness. So, like I said, I wasn't going to be able to even skim the surface. There are many, many more strategies that you can use. Some are listed here. But if you regularly incorporate these activities into your day, into your routines in the classroom, and you make them a natural part of the child's learning experience, that will really support the development of print concepts, and it will help to lay a strong foundation for future reading and for your students' writing skills. And so use a combination of these methods. There are many, many more out there, and be sure to continue to intentionally support your students' development of print concepts.